Page 5, Carefree Stroll. Cut time or 2/2 time. No sharps or flats. We're in the key of C major, it looks like. Now when I first learn a piece that's in cut time, I put it in 4/4 time temporarily to learn it, and then once I get the notes and fingering and all that worked out and the rhythm, then I put it back in cut time. So I'm going to talk about this as though it's in 4/4 time and a quarter note gets a count. So first let's just cover the notes and fingering and all that. Right hand, you're here to start. Not going to stay that way very long, but starts. It's 1, 2, 3, and then while that come up here, second finger. And then measure 5, you get all these C's. Now on measure 7, it's 4. Just come in a little bit. And when you repeat that, your thumb's in position here, so you're ready. Now, if you don't repeat it and you go on, or you have repeated and you're ready, when you're ready to go on, here, during the rest, you come up here, so the thumb is there. Reach up, thumb. Really, you're sort of in this position. And then measure 13, little finger, come down. We have a B flat. Reach up. And that's a B natural there. Remember that flat in measure 13 is only good for that measure, not anywhere else. Left hand, this is Alberti bass pattern. We got the C chord, or the 1 chord, and the 4 chord is here. And the 5/7 chord. I'm just rocking my hand back and forth. Here, just transfer. It's like walking on the piano. I'm just transferring weight. It's not a lot of weight, not being heavy here. It's just a little bit of weight, but that's all it is. Measure 5, they're saying third finger. That's okay, just come up. And then second finger, rest, rest. And then here, and I recommend you use 3/2 here if you can. This is for measure 8, so you're coming from here to here. I like to connect those. If you can't, you got real small hands, you can't do that, then you have to do what they're saying. Here. Measure 9, you got 1 beat rest from measure 8 to come down here. It's still our Alberti bass. 4 on measure 10. And then measure 13, now it's little finger. You got a rest, come up here. It's a G and an F. Remember, it's right above the second ledger line above the staff. 1 ledger line above the staff is middle C. We know that, I hope. 2 ledger lines is an E. You need to know that. Just memorize it. Well, the space above it is the next note. That's an F. And you really need to memorize that note too. Just know it's an F. So it's a G and an F. And again, I recommend 3/2 if your hand's big enough for the last one. If not, you got to do what they're doing. Then when you repeat during the rest, you got to come back down here. Put the hands together here slowly. It's slow to me. I mean, you can go slower than that. It's all right. Make sure you play these rests in the left hand. You lift up. Rest. Rest. Both hands rest there. Let's go on to measure 9. You're going to go to here. Both hands during the rest are coming to here. So forth. Once you have that, let's put in the slurs and stuff. In the right hand, lift up. You just between the hands. Lift up, just a slight lift up. It's like taking a breath. Now these staccatos, nice light wrist staccatos. I don't like using the same finger on all these notes on measure 5, but that's fine. We'll just do that for now. Go down to measure 9. It's slur. lift up. Now here you slurs, and out of habit I do a 5-4-5 fingering. It's just I do this all the time. You can use fifth finger on all of them if you want, but on more advanced music you run across this kind of a passage, and I find that 5-4-5 really comes in handy. Anyway, and then the last line is all slurred. On these staccatos for the right hand, I'm doing a nice light wrist staccato. If it's slow enough, I put my hand on the key and I bounce off of it. If it's a faster one, I have to do this, but it's not a big motion, it's just a little motion. So forth. For the left hand, it just says legato, which means connected. So for the left hand, we're just going to connect it all except for the rest. So just play it all, there's no slurring. So that means I'm lifting up on one hand but not the other. Like at the beginning, we're here. I'm lifting up the right hand but not the left. And this is staccato, but this is not. Like so. When you get down to measure 9, they're both legato for 2 measures, but then on measure 11, the left hand's legato, the right hand has the slur and staccatos. So just connect this left hand throughout except for the rest. Then the dynamics. Well, this is the right hand, that's where the melody is. Whatever you think moderately loud is, or medium loud, or mezzo forte, or sort of loud, or yeah, loud. Well, it's not loud, it's just sort of loud. You stay that pretty much until measure 8, where you come down. You can come down to about a moderately soft. Then on measure 9, now you're loud. That's louder, a little louder than you were at the beginning. It's just loud. The left hand needs to be in the background throughout. We want to hear the melody. So forth. Then we can think about the speed. Well, this is where we got to put it back and cut time. In 2/2 time, we're going to feel 2 basic pulses per minute. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. This is why I do it in 4/4 time first, because once I have the rhythm figured out, I don't really have to count it anymore. Now it's more feeling it. So it's just 2 pulses. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then I think, okay, andante con moto, how do I apply that to the cut time? Because that's where it gets tricky. People don't agree. Imagine that. Andante is kind of a leisure pace. It's the slower side of the middle range. It's not slow, it's just a leisure pace. Con moto means with motion, so it's not going to be too leisurely, we're going to move. Well, the left hand does that for you with this pattern. It's constantly moving. So forth. So it's a leisurely pace, whatever. There's no set speed. You have to experiment. All. It's my impression of it. I could play this a few more times and have a few more cups of coffee and then play it all different. I would ask you not to just copy me. Get to know it well enough that you can kind of get into it. Think about just being out there and enjoying yourself for a day and forgetting about all the world's troubles, which there are a lot of right now. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and rhythm. I don't think the rhythms are a problem. Let's just make sure we got the notes. I'm not going to do the dynamics, but I will do the slurs and staccatos. So I'll give us 4 quarter notes. I'm going to do this in 4/4 time, and we'll start. 1, 2, ready, go. Repeat. Rest.